I apologize. I am young and I am inexperienced. But you cannot hold Carl Lee Haley responsible for my shortcomings. You see, through all this legal maneuvering, something has gotten lost. And that something is the truth. Now, it is incumbent upon us lawyers not only to talk about the truth, but to actually seek it, to find it, and to live it. Let's take Dr. Bass, for example. Now, I would never knowingly put a convicted felon on the stand. I hope you can believe that. But what is the truth? That he's a disgraced liar? Well, what if I told you that the woman that he was accused of raping was 17? He was 23. She later became married to him, bore his child, and she is still married to the man today. Does that make his testimony any more or less true? What is it within us that seeks the truth? Is it our minds? Or is it our hearts? Now, I set out to prove that a black man can receive a fair trial in the South, and that we are all equal in the eyes of the law. But that's not the truth. Because the eyes of the law are humans' eyes, yours and mine. And until we can actually see each other as equal, justice will never be even-handed. It will only remain a reflection of our own prejudice. And until that day, we have a duty under God to seek the truth. Not with our minds, not with our eyes, where fear and anger turn commonality into prejudice, but with our hearts. Now I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes while I tell you this story. This is a story about a little girl walking home from the grocery store one sunny afternoon. I want you to picture this little girl. Suddenly, a truck races up, and two men jump out, and they grab her. They drag her off into a nearby field, and they rip her clothes from her body. One of them jumps on, and then the other, raping her with vicious thrusts in a fog of drunken breath and sweat, shattering anything innocent and pure. And when they're finished, after they kill her tiny little womb, murdering any chance for her to bear her own children, to bring life be on their own. They sit down and they use her for target practice. They throw full beer cans directly at her. They throw them so hard that it tears her flesh from her bones. And then they urinate on her. Now comes the hanging. They have a rope and they tie a noose. A sudden jerk and she goes into the air and her legs just flop around. They just don't find the ground. And the branch isn't strong enough, so it snaps and she falls back down to the earth. They pick her up and throw her in the back of the truck and they drive off to Foggy Creek Bridge. And they throw her over the edge. I want you to picture this little girl. I want you to picture this little girl. Covered in their urine, covered in their semen, covered in their sweat, covered in her blood. I want you to picture this little girl. Now picture her white.